Hello. I've been thinking recently over my experiences of agile transformations in a number of organizations, in a number of industries. I've been wondering, is there a pattern to where the transformations have been successful and where they have failed? I believe I have some insight. It starts with the recognition of the difference between science and technology. Science is universal knowledge, knowledge sought out and codified because it is true in all circumstances. Technology, however, is instrumental knowledge, knowledge aimed at doing something specific in a particular situation. This is important because Agile is a technology, not a science. Agile is a set of theories, techniques, tools aimed at transforming the ways of working inside organizations. It is partly derived from areas of scientific knowledge, but is not experimentally proven as universally true. The key point about technology is that it is always local. That is, a technology is always applied inside a specific context. Its application is always the product of choices made by people. The choices that people make about how and when to apply a technology are based on reasoning that reflect the values and the cultures within which the decisions and choices are made. For Agile, this cultural context is the organization within which it is applied. The values that organizations develop over time shape their actions and the thinking of their members. Technical problems are always defined within the framework of this value system. And when engineers and other technical people frame a problem, they are heavily influenced in doing so by the culture of the organization in which they work. In her book, Rule Makers, Rule Breakers, Professor Michelle Gelfand lays out a simple model for understanding cultures, a model based on the strength of social norms within the culture, on the glue that binds groups together. She asserts that all cultures can be placed on a continuum from loose to tight. A culture with many rules and strict punishments for breaching them is described as tight. In contrast, a culture with lax rules and a more permissive approach in their enforcement is classified as loose. Tightness or looseness of a culture is a social response to perceived threat. Social groups that feel threatened become more cohesive in response, i.e., they become tighter. But there is a trade-off. Tight cultures, although more orderly, predictable, and comforting, are also less open, tolerant, and creative. And this is where I had my insight. Agile transformations are an attempt to loosen culture. This is the declared purpose of agile transformations, to change the culture of an organization, to make them more agile, more flexible, open, looser, more creative. The core idea is that the implementation of agile technology, practices, techniques, tools, frameworks, etc., can cause an organization to move from a tighter towards a looser culture. This means that agile transformations are based on the assumptions of technological determinism, i.e., the belief that technology and changes to technology drive social structures and cultural values. But there is also considerable evidence of the opposite, that a culture molds new technologies to itself, that tight cultures implement technologies in tightening ways, and vice versa. My experience tells me that there are two situations where I have witnessed successful implementations of Agile. First, where it has been introduced into an existing loose culture. That is, the Agile approaches and frameworks have reinforced the existing culture. It has also been successful where the Agile implementation has been tightened to match an existing tight culture. That is, greater emphasis on systems, processes, procedures, and rules. Where the transformation has attempted to implement Agile in a pure form, in opposition to an existing tight culture, that transformation has failed. My experience tells me that in a straight fight between a tight culture and loose Agile, the culture always wins, and the Agile transformation is abandoned. Truly, culture eats Agile for breakfast. Thank you for watching my video. I hope it has been of value to you.